Congratulations, students. You are at the point where you are almost ready to share and publish your draft. All you're doing now is getting ready to type the second draft, and you're going to do some revising and editing on this as well. So we're going to start off by getting into your Google Drive. Make sure you've got a document open, and we're going to talk about the formatting first. You guys are sending a letter to administrators, to the principals of your school, so this should be a pretty formal letter. So if you look up at the top of my letter, you're going to notice that I started with Walnut's address because I am sending it from Walnut Middle School. Now, if you want to, you can put your personal address up there, but generally, you're going to start off with your Walnut address because that's the place that you're writing it and you're sending it as a Walnut student. I want you to hit enter 4 times after you get done with the zip code for Walnut Middle School. Put today's date and make sure you spell it out the whole way. Don't put 5 first. Make sure you actually spell out May. Then hit enter twice, and then you're going to address it to your recipients, who are Mr. Foley, Mr. Holly, and Mr. Hubbard. And then down below that, you can put Walnut's address. This is all part of sending a formal letter. And we are, even just by the way that this thing looks, we are establishing our ethos with our administrators. When you put this together like a formal letter, it tells them that you take it very seriously and you understand that they're more likely to believe you when you can show that you take it seriously. So what you see me doing here at this point in the letter is just typing from my original draft. I had gone through, you guys saw that stage where I went through and did the revising. I was looking for ethos, logos, and pathos. I was checking it over to make sure that the organization was okay. So this is what I am typing based off of what I had changed from before. And you can see I'm going back in to look for red underlining. I can't stand having typos in my work. In fact, it's kind of a miracle that I even made it all the way through the first paragraph before I went back in, because normally as soon as I see it show up, I'll go back and change it. But those little red underlines are a really good clue for you that there's something there that you need to change, there's something there that you need to fix, and you should go back and address it. So all I'm doing right now is just working on typing up my draft. And I want you to pay attention to the spaces in between the paragraphs. This is something that's called a block style. Normally, I always ask you guys to indent your paragraphs at the start, but because we are writing a very formal letter to our administrators, there's actually no indentation at the beginning, and you are supposed to do a double space in between each of the paragraphs. So that's what you see happening here, is just that block formatting that's happening. Anytime you send a letter to somebody who is in a position of authority, like Mr. Foley, Mr. Holly, and Mr. Hubbard, if you were going to send a letter to a business to complain about their service or the product that they've given you, if you're applying for a job or something like that, you're probably going to want to use this block style of formatting because it says that it is much more formal than what you would write for a friendly letter, and that you expect to be taken very seriously. Like I said, that's part of establishing your ethos. So you're going to see me just do a little bit more editing here as I go. I'm just editing along the way, kind of taking care of some of those misspellings. And in a little bit, I'll talk to you about some of the other differences between the formal and the friendly letter. Okay, so if I were writing a friendly letter, this is how it would look different. Look where I'm circling here after Mr. Hubbard's name. There's a comma there instead of a colon. And then the beginning of each of my paragraphs actually starts with an indentation. So if I were treating them like they were my friends, I'd put a comma and indent all the paragraphs instead of using the colons and using the block style. This is actually what I want your final copy of your letter to look like. That full block paragraphing No indentations anywhere along the way, double spaces between all of them. Make sure that you have a colon after Mr. Hubbard's name. And then when you put in your closing, you're going to put not a comma, but a colon afterwards. And then you'll see me type my name here. And I go with my friendly name first and then change my mind because I think Elizabeth is much more formal. So I wanted to make sure I definitely set that tone. All right, well, now that you've got the whole second draft typed, in order for it to become your final copy, all you need to do is just a little bit more revising and editing. I want you to go back in and do a T-chart revision on it. Make sure you check all of your sentences, look for beginning words, look for the total number of words in the sentence. And you're trying to convey a formal tone, so it's okay if you have some longer sentences. Make sure that you check over for the basic stuff, the capital letters, that you have complete sentences, that your spelling is correct, all of those types of things, because you are trying to establish your ethos. You are a credible, trustworthy, believable person. And if you are arguing for drinking fountains, but you can't spell anything correctly, they might tell you, no, we'd rather spend our money on spelling books for you instead of a new drinking fountain. So do make sure that you've got all those formal conventions in place. Good luck.